I'm Corbitt with DVAuction, here with your feeder flash for Tuesday, November the 25th, brought to you in part by Specialty Risk Insurance. It's right on I-44, their headquarters not far from Carthage, Missouri, and right across the interstate from Joplin Regional Stockyards. If you go there, you will see a very impressive place of business. I don't know any insurance company that has a more impressive facility there. But you'll also see that it's very ag related. I mean, in fact, Kevin Charleston, the owner there, he's liable to have some bulls and some grass traps right before you pull up to the office there. Some breeding bulls that he keeps for sale there. A lot of guys in there will be wearing cowboy hats and feeling very comfortable in them. That's just the kind of outfit that they put together there, guys. And they can cover all of your insurance needs in and around your farm or ranch. They also love to serve sale barns, and I know a lot of the sale barns guys listen here. You need to let them give you a quote on your sale barn, all your stuff in the office, everything out back, your facilities, your workman's comp, your everything. You won't believe how much it will save you guys. But for more information, go to specialtyrisk.com. Also, Beaver County Stockyards in Beaver, Oklahoma, they're taking the week off for Thanksgiving, guys. And it's not just, they didn't just plan that here after we've had some more upheaval in the market. No, they had this planned on the schedule all along, giving their employees and themselves a little bit of time off there during the Thanksgiving holiday. But this is Jeff Slatton's spot in the Tuesday feeder flash, so he wanted me to tell you guys that when you're going to be marketing calves, and it's just not to his sale barn, it's to everywhere, these calves that are short weaned, even up to 45 days weaned, it's not enough. 30 days weaned is poison. Anything that like less than that, you don't need to do it. You just need to fresh wean them right off the cow. Get them sold as fast as you can get them done. But get up there 60 to 90, 120 days wean. Make light yearlings out of them. He's been buying a lot of them put on wheat, guys, and he says it's just unbelievable. You put a lightweight yearling out there that's been long time weaned, and they just take off. And you put the calves out there. They're running to the hot wire, they're looking around, they're bawling, they're getting sick, and he told me, he said, I'm not gonna tie into those calves, even the so-called wean calves next year. Just not gonna do it. You know, these things are too expensive. You can't afford to lose them. You don't lose any of the yearlings. He said, I'd rather give too much for a yearling as to buy a calf that's just gonna fall over and die. So I got too much to do. You know, the calves got opportunity there to do a lot of good, but whenever they're not quite weaned right or haven't got all their shots in them like they're supposed to, you know, it's just not worth it. But take that into consideration there, and visit Beaver County Stockyards in Beaver, Oklahoma, and all their sales are on DVAuction.com. It was good while it lasted. The market, very impressive. We'll all remember where we were at whenever we sold $4 800-pound steers, you know, for the first time. It was very exciting, you know. We saw that. We saw lightweight steer calves, you know, bringing way over $6 a pound. It was a lot of fun, but we're not there anymore. We have pretty much retraced all the gains that we'd made since spring, and so we're off of that, and we had the highest cattle market in history. People made big money. I mean, cow-calf producers that were used to trying to scratch out a living on $1,000 a calf when they sold them, you know, they were getting up to $2,500, you know, time and a half more, and they were able to get some money under their belt and make some improvements, do some things. I hope they didn't just get that living quarters horse trailer that they'd been wanting, but maybe did some improvements. and improve their operation. But the fed cattle, I heard many guys that feed cattle that made over $1,000 per head on cattle that they had on feed in the feedlot. Unbelievable. There was the backgrounded stocker cattle. Your backgrounders made a lot of money on their cattle. There was an opportunity in there where you could have doubled your money on stocker type cattle, guys. I mean, it's just unbelievable the opportunities that we were afforded in this big market. But we ran out of time. It was too high, too long. And like I say, when the town drunk thinks these calves are getting pretty high, or all these feeder cattle, you better start thinking the other way. And this time it was Washington, D.C. Donald Trump, God love him, but he don't know shit about the cattle business. He thought the way to get beef cheaper was to attack the cattle market. He did a good job on getting the cattle market lower. It's just that it's not going to help the beef market get any lower. And maybe that will help him in the investigation that he's going to do on these packers. We've got the cattle price down here. Why hasn't the beef price come down? We've all wondered that. So let's keep touching on that and see if he stays after that and sees if it doesn't help. But I tell you what, between his tweets or posts on social media, his administration making different announcements, just everything that's been going on, the tariffs that's been going on, the tariff talk on there, and then finally the closing of the plant in Lexington, Nebraska. Everybody has just been kicking the nuts out of the cattle market. And most everybody I know is just saying, you've got one more kick, make it a good one, square up and give it to me just as hard as you can, hit me with your best shot. You're going to open the border. Everybody knows they're going to open the border here within just a few months. Let's open it right now. Let's do it right now. Couldn't hurt us any more than you've already hurt us. The CME cattle futures have been down the limit 3 times over border talk. And so now we were locked up all day on Monday due to the plant being closed in Nebraska. Kick us in the nuts one more time. Go ahead and do it right now. Don't wait till we start getting some footing on this thing and back up. Just go ahead and do it right now. Open that damn border up. Open those 30-foot gates up wide open. Screw worms or not. Hell, just let them come in. And maybe it'll drip down to the beef price. Yeah, right. But we just want to get it back over. Get everybody that don't belong in the cattle market business to get the hell out. And I've heard that several times over the last few weeks. I'm not scared of this market. We still love the fundamentals. We don't have very many cattle, and there's going to be fewer cattle in the spring than we've ever seen yet by far. And so we don't want to have to feel guilty about having a high cattle market. We don't want to have to feel responsible for people that so-called they want to buy beef, but they don't have the money. What the hell are they spending their money on that they don't have money to buy groceries? We just want to get back to fundamentals if we could. But Nebraska, just late on last week announced that they were closing the Tyson plant there in Lexington, Nebraska. I told you on the last visit, pretty much an even swap. They build a new plant in North Platte, Nebraska. They close an old plant in Lexington, Nebraska. And most of the cattle that were going to go to Nebraska going to move over to the new plant. And it's just even Steven, like they said before. Not quite the capacity, but they never ran Lexington at capacity anyway, so what the heck. But Nebraska right now got the most cattle on feed ever recorded for November the 1st, and they close the plant because of tight supplies. So not everything makes sense. Another thing you want to keep on your radar, they've got a packing plant, cattle processing plant in Amarillo that is under construction, guys, and it's 5 miles from the Tyson plant in Amarillo. So will that be the next announcement of a closing plant? I don't know, maybe it does. I'm sure it's going to be a whole lot more efficient than the old plants they have around the Texas Panhandle and Oklahoma Panhandle there in southwest Kansas. So, you know, it's going to be a lot of competition. So when we get that one built, will one of these down here announce that they're closing? I wouldn't be surprised if that didn't happen, guys. But at least it's not the big four, and the big four haven't come in and bought them out yet. And the big four has not come in and bought out the new plant in Nebraska. Maybe they have gotten a big corporate outfit in there, but it was not one of the big four, and maybe that's how we're going to break them up. So it remains to be seen, but we'll see that. Let's talk about your board on Monday. Of course, not much to talk about. It opened limit down and locked there. Almost all your contracts on CME cattle futures were locked limit down. December live cattle locked 7 1/4 down at 207.20. February was locked down 7 1/4 at 207.52. All the rest of your back months locked down the limit. January feeder cattle down 9 1/4. That's the limit there at 304.97. March was down the limit, locked down 297.80. All your back months on feeder cattle locked down the limit. Look at your grains. March corn down 3/4 cent a bushel at 436 3/4. January beans down 1 3/4 cent at 11.23 1/4. Kansas City hard red winter wheat for March down 3 3/4 cent a bushel at 522 1/2. Your weighted average on last week's negotiated fed cattle trade out of your so-called 5-area feeding region, which we only get information out of 4, totaled 45,600 head. That compared to 46,100 the week before and 50,800 the same week a year ago. You look at your prices on live fat steers and heifers last week, and your major negotiated areas, they sold from $210 to $224. That was $6 to $8 lower. Your weighted average on live steers, $217.41. That's a complete wrap up on last week, down $7.65. Your dress sales last week negotiated were $332 to $347, $10 to $14 lower. Your weighted average on dress steers, $343.36, down $7.58. Whoa. As a whole, though, your market in the Northern Plains was $7 to $9 lower, from $215 to $219, largely $218 in the Northern Plains. And dress sales were $3 to $10 lower, from $340 to $347. Southern Plains market was $4 to $6 lower, from $220 to $224. Now, we've already sold cattle a foot lower than that on Monday. We had sales in Nebraska and surrounding areas there at 208. So it's a lot lower than it was even on that sharply lower market, and people are already puking them and taking it. And people that were bid 208 on Monday morning could not get 208 Monday afternoon. So there you go for that. So it's going to be a tough week, guys, and likely your board's going to be down the limit at least for a while on Tuesday. Let's just hope it's not on Wednesday also. Nationwide last week we sold 58,050 head of negotiated fed cattle. That compared to 55,300 the previous week and 67,300 the same week a year ago. Of that 58,050, about 12,000 or 21% of those were 15 to 30 day delivery cattle. Negotiated grid cattle last week totaled 45,100 head. Forward contracts written on 9,600 head, and formula sales 217,000 head. Of your 4 out of 5 regions of negotiation that we get information from, Iowa sold a grand total of 21,850 head negotiated. Nebraska sold 17,800. Kansas sold 3,800. Texas sold 2,100. Box beef cutout values were lower. What else would they be on Monday afternoon? Choice cuts down 99 cents at 370.49. Selects down 147 at 355.51. Your slaughter to start out the week on Monday was 120,000 estimated, and that's 4,000 more than the previous week, last week's Monday, and 2,000 less than the same week a year ago for that Monday. Let's talk about what else is going on. Punchy pick of the month. We have a lot of fun with that. Comes around real regular, guys. But we have fun with that. Couldn't do it without our sponsors. For the Kids Corral Punchy pick of the month, we like to thank Great Plains Livestock Consulting, guys. Get a hold of them if you think you could use a consultant in your livestock operation there, guys. They are well informed and can help you quite a bit. We also had Beaver County Stockyards. Of course, they help us all the time. Been with Punchy Picks since the very beginning. And also Farapiece, that revolutionary product that is scientifically proven. They give a whole case of Farapiece product to the winner of the Punchy Pick of the month each month, guys. If you're not using that, I can't imagine why. It only costs about $3 a dose. If they happen to gain 1 pound, it pays for itself. So easy to give. I mean, the benefits are just open-ended, guys. Also, today, Tuesday, is your last day for Punchy Pick submissions because we're going to be taking a little bit of time here off for Thanksgiving at the end of the month. So if you want to be included in this month's Punchy Pick of the month, you need to submit that today. If you got that picture, just email it to punchy@nationalbeefwire.com. Also, we're going to have one more feeder flash after this. We'll have a feeder flash for Wednesday, and then of course we won't have one for Thanksgiving, and we won't have one for Black Friday. It'll be back again Monday, though. Let's talk about your feeder cattle market, brought to you by Specialty Risk Insurance. I told you how they're working for your livelihood, guys. Your real-time index late in the day on Monday after your sales have closed from DVAuction at 331.68. That was $4.79 lower than the end of last week. They took a toll, guys. Your steer tracker, the last 25 lots of 5 head or more that go in the index, was at 318.77. So got a lot more to fall. Your latest CME cash feeder cattle index languishing way up there at 336.38. I want to tell you about a sale that's coming up here today. There's not very many cattle auctions for the rest of the week. There'll be a few sales here on Tuesday. There's going to be a few specials up in the Midwest on Wednesday and Friday. But I'm going to tell you about a sale in North Texas, Cattleman's Livestock Auction in Paris, Texas. That's the sale there in town, guys. Here today on Tuesday the 25th, starting at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, they're going to have in their preconditioned 45 weaned yearling day sale. That's going to be reserved just for cattle that have had all their shots and have been weaned at least 45 days. I talked to them. They said most of the consignments have been weaned at least 60 to 90 days. So they're going to be short time yearlings there, guys. The kind of cattle that we were talking about earlier that you want. If you need some weak cattle that you can just turn out and just check for sick ones, you don't have to keep them up and precondition them and do all that kind of thing. If you need some cattle to buy here before the end of the year that will have health and condition, you need to get onto this sale. If you're just looking for something, cattle are still short, guys, and the timing is kind of unfortunate for this sale. But They are going to have 1,800 head of good cattle there, short time yearling cattle. They'll mostly be a Charolais and Charolais cross and Black Angus and Black Angus cross there, guys. They'll have a tick of age to them. They'll have the condition to take off when you put them on whatever you're going to put them on, especially if you got some wheat. I know there's a lot of irrigated wheat out there, guys. But check them out, Cattleman's Livestock, Paris, Texas, here today. They are on DVAuction. You need to call them at Cattleman's Livestock in Paris and a little bit early before the sale and get approved so you can be on DVAuction so you can bid. And it's not going to be one at a time. They're going to be selling bunches there, guys. So check that sale out. Look at your sales on Monday that they had. Of course, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma National Stockyards, they had close to 3,500 head there. The feeders were $10 to $20 lower. Calves were $20 to $30 lower, with heifer calves as much as $40 lower. It was bad. They did have one pretty stick out sale that I thought was pretty good, would have been considered pretty good last week or the week before, but they had National Livestock sold 109 steers, weighed 651 pounds at $361. That's not too bad. How about Joplin Regional Stockyards? They had 8,600 head. Everybody knew the market was going to be lower, and they got 600 cattle more than they thought. I was talking to a friend of mine that backgrounds cattle down in that country. He needed to sell some cattle. He knew what was going to happen, but he was hauling cattle into Joplin over the weekend, brought them in on Saturday, had a big ground load trailer there behind his truck, and he pulled in there Saturday afternoon and got out, and guy was there, you know, working on getting the tailgate open and getting those cattle unloaded. It was Jackie Moore, the owner of Joplin Regional Stockyards, was there writing up the tickets, greeting people on Saturday afternoon, bringing cattle in for the sale for Monday. I'm sure the reason he was there is because he knew what was coming, and he was bracing his consigners for that, telling them what all was going on. Now, this market's going to be lower. I'm going to sell them as good as I can, but that's all I can do. And people appreciate that. You wonder how he's built that sale up to be the biggest in the nation. That kind of stuff does it. But your market at Joplin on Monday was unevenly $5 to $20 lower. They were your Superior Steel sales, home of Superior Standard livestock equipment, stick out sale of the day. You look at this automated market report through Cattle Market Central and you see your best tested weights. They had 187 head of 4-weight steers at Joplin. They averaged 448 at 387.57. There were 572 head of the 5-weight steers. They averaged 555 at 362.49. 461 head of the 6-weight steers averaged 648 at 339.04. 1,291 head of the 7-weight steers averaged 743 at 322.87, and 2,409 head of 8-weight feeder steers at JRS averaged 853 with a weighted average price of 310.46. Look at some heifers. 201 head of the 4-weight heifer calves averaged 453 at 337.22. I mean, it ain't for nothing, guys. Still decent prices. 488 head of 5-weight heifer calves averaged 540 at 319.72. 418 head of the 6-weight heifers averaged 656 at 312.21. 1,227 head of the 7-weight heifers averaged 761 at 288.18, and 311 head of the 8-weight heifers in Joplin averaged 844 with a weighted average price of 280.88. Now, the most impressive quote that I saw come out of Joplin was a humdinger. I was just watching some markets and happened to have it on my phone on DVAuction when it happened. They start bringing in some yearling steers, and I'm like, wow, I mean, these steers could read and write. Had black hair like a bear, and I mean the kind, guys. And they started selling them, and I said, well, I guess we'll see what the market is. And they were the top quote 87 steers out of Joplin weighed 819 on Monday morning, bring 332. What's wrong with that? It's some lower, but it sure ain't no wreck. They also had the biggest string there at the sale on Monday was 428 head of 881 pound steers, bring 326.50. Lots of places that couldn't get that for them last week, guys. That was before all of the plant closing stuff happened. Give you some other individual quotes that were very impressive. How about Callaway Livestock Center in Kingdom City, Missouri? That's Jack Harrison up there. He sold 70 steers, weighed 760 at 349.50. Can't cry about that. But the most impressive quote that I saw anywhere on Monday, and your Macrocin No BS top quote from the day, come out of Russell Livestock Market in Russell, Iowa. They are a DVAuction broadcaster. They sold 71 head of 676 pound steers for $380 1/4. And that's your feeder flash for Tuesday.